Hello, welcome back. Another week. To be honest, this wasn't the greatest week, but it was a good week because it actually really we were almost neutral. I think we lost around 1%, but SPY did lose a little bit this week, and then we were during the day on Friday. We were actually very close to being neutral on the position from last week, so I'm pretty happy about that. And it was able to not keep on falling down. So that's what I wanted to see, and that's what I saw. And it's always been kind of on the edge. Um, it's always been testing my limits. I've been pretty close to selling it, but in the end, it keeps on rebounding. So I'm pretty happy about that, and it's good. It's a good indication. Just didn't end off super strong, but it's okay. So total performance, you can see we're still at the low area. When I sold the short, we were basically at the low because I sold it for almost neutral. And then I had to start a new position. So that new position did gain quite a lot on the ninth, I think, the morning of the ninth, the pre-market. And then it lost all those gains during this week. And then it regained it, or during the last 2 weeks. And then it regained around like half of it this week, kind of. So, or not half of it, it regained most of what it lost, and now it's back in the same spot as before the rally that happened. So if we get back to that, if it goes back to the high price in the pre-market session on the ninth, then we'd probably be looking around negative 19, probably negative 20, I think. So that would be a 4% boost, which would be really good, and that's what I'm hoping. So it's looking good. It's looking good. Here it just shows like nothing's really happened, but really it's kind of due to a lot of things, but it's mostly just right now it's just kind of at a low, so it doesn't really show the full effect of the rebound that's kind of going on. Okay, so current week, little lost a little bit more than last week. Nasdaq is actually not doing that good. It is quite high, but it's actually underperforming SPY and Dow Jones, which is quite rare to see. So it is kind of in a weird spot right now. It did lose almost 1% this week. And then overall, we're at around 45. Nasdaq is at 8%. So SPY is still going strong. I'd say it's one of the strongest out of the three. It lost only 0.35 this week, and really overall it's basically at 10. It did go below the 10 threshold this week. Dow Jones is pretty strong. As you can see, it's one of the strongest. However, overall it's still at 8.8, so it's not as high as this SPY, but I mean, Dow Jones and Nasdaq are basically, as you can see right now, it's 8.8 for Dow, and Nasdaq is at 8.2. So it's actually outperforming. And then let's keep on going. So let's see. So here I have everything. So everything's still in the same area range. We kind of rebounded from our low. It's probably one of the lowest spots we've actually been. I mean, just looking back, at the end of November, we were basically at the same spot. Beginning of December, same spot. Middle of December, the same spot, and now we're back at the same spot. So we've actually been basically the same area. Let's say probably from yeah. So beginning of November till now. So that's what December, and then January. So that's 2 months. I'm pretty sure this is the 11th week, I think. Um, but whenever it hits the 12th week, that's going to be 3 months. So should be 12/1. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it depends how far back you go. But, right, we would have been a whole extra month. So we've only been 2 months really in the same spot. The only problem is it's the same spot in like a bad area. I remember I was looking back, I said this in the last video, but last year we were at the same spot for around like 4 months. It was just a lot more volatile in between. So, I'm happy that it's not as volatile. We're just in the same area. But I'm not that happy because we're still around negative 20%, which is not good. Um, but it's okay. I mean, it's fine. Negative 23 transaction cost, and this was kind of the week. It was kind of disappointing, pretty disappointing until Friday. Friday was the first day. If you know something about this, that's the first day that there wasn't some automatic selling going on because one of the biggest sellers behind the stock has been selling the stock probably since I think November or maybe October, and they finally finished their shares sold on the 15th. And then it was the first day with a highly green day, or quite a strong green day. If it was correlated to that, maybe, maybe not. It probably had an effect, but there was also some other positive news going on in the sector, and it's looking good. Really, we only lost 1% this week overall. The position I think lost around 2.5%, so that's pretty low, and it should be in a week or two we could easily, hopefully, be back in negative 20, and then if we negative 16, and hopefully back to where we regularly are. 43.6 slightly decreased this week. 54 haven't sold. 2.31. The ratios did actually get better. Our standard deviation did decrease but below 3%. This is the first time I've seen it, I'm pretty sure. So that's pretty good. And standard deviation slightly decreased there. So overall, the differences, I mean, they're almost the same, which is good. Our standard deviation ratio, or the multiple, decreased. We are now below 3% standard deviation, so that's pretty good. Over here, mean transaction 0.28, and then day trades. I think there's been like 2 or 3 since I started this year, and the beta is below 0.9, so it's actually still decreasing very slowly, but it is decreasing, which is a benefit. I'm trying to, the goal is to get this to 0, but I don't really care about it that much. My primary goal right now is getting the portfolio return up, and then whenever it's up, depending on where the beta is by then, I can do adjustments to it, but it's not really the primary concern. It's just wherever the flow is, and if this is going down and I'm going up, then that's even better. But it's not like a requirement I'm trying to see right now. And then alpha, I mean, we are negative, so there's negative alpha. And here we have negative 23. So I think midday we are basically almost the same as last week on the close. So that was pretty hopeful. And it's pretty optimistic. My goal right now would probably be to, like, long-term goal is when I reach, outperforming SPY, whenever that is, I would probably pause operations and just do this. I would still do videos, but it would just be with a lower amount of money, because right now I just started my second semester, and it's a lot more important. It's a lot more hands-on, and I want to focus on that rather than this. But I can still, record videos and stuff. It's just that having such higher money doing this doesn't really make, it's not really worth the amount of risk that it involves at the moment. So I don't really see a good return on that. Now, it's always good to have a track record, so I'll probably still keep on doing videos, but I don't know when it'll be. So whenever that happens, I'll probably just stop it then, or not really stop it, but I'll just announce it then, and that's the plan. And I had been thinking about this for quite a while, so I just decided to probably say it if anyone's watching this. And thanks for new subscribers. I'm getting like 1 a week, which is pretty rare. I think like last year it was like the same number for like 6 months or something. So more people are watching. And the negative 19% video actually got a lot of views. I'm not sure if that's because I hit negative 19%, or that's just the algorithm, so I have no idea. But thanks for watching either way, and see you next time.